Guys, so I'm popping on here a little early because I've got to get my daughter to an appointment. But I thought it was a great time to talk about today's topic, which is 5 ways to juggle a busy life. So I get this all the time. People are like, I don't know how you do it at all. Um, and I think my daughter is starting to get this. She's 17 now, and she's starting to take on more responsibilities and just trying to, to maneuver that step into adulthood, how to take on more responsibilities, how to manage its ones that you currently have and move forward. So I'm going to share with you 5 things, 5 tools, basically, essentially, that I use that helps me keep moving forward without getting overwhelmed. This works for me and my mental space and my list. So just a little snapshot. I was laying in bed the other night and I was like starting to feel that moment of overwhelmed. Like I was starting to feel like, okay, what I've got a lot to do. I need to get organized because I had a lot coming up, right? So just to give you an idea, like I homeschool. I have a one graduating this year, one the first year of high school. Um, I am getting ready to teach a personal finance class to high schoolers. I'm getting ready to help in co-op. I'm going through a training course of my own so that I can better help my clients. I'm also taking college courses because I never finished that degree and I want to get that done. Um, I'm in an ongoing mentorship through business course. I am, yeah, that one can wait, but I literally just joined a book course because I'm going to be writing a book this year. I'm getting ready to launch my 90-day reset, which you guys have heard about. And I have a lot of other projects that I want to do. A money mindset workshop. I need to redo my emergency binder workshop. And I have a lot of free tools and stuff that I want to get out there on my group. So caveat, if you are not in my group, be sure to pop in there. It's Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, a faith-based journey to do more, give more, and serve more. And I have a list of things that I want, tools and challenges and just a bunch of education and stuff that I want to put in there this year. Anyway, so that's a lot. Not to mention, of course, family and friends and all of that going on. But all that to say, life gets busy, life gets crazy. I am stepping down from my leadership role in my homeschool group this year. So that is one thing. So that is one tip that's not included is know when it's time to move on and let things go. But all right, so 5 ways. I'm going to give you a rundown and we're going to go back and list and dive into each one of them. So I'll go ahead and give you the lowdown. I'm going to tell you about, I use my calendar, live and die by my calendar. I budget my day, and you know I love that word budget, so we'll talk about that more. Time blocking, journaling, and lists. So those are my 5 tools that I honestly say I use every single day. I had to look at it and just make sure before I said the statement. But yes, I use all 5 of those tools every single day. Let me run them through. My calendar, I budget my day, time blocking, journaling, and lists. All right, so let's dive into each one a little bit more. We're not going to go in depth, and if you want to know more information about what I do or anything like that, or any of these, want to learn more, we can do a different video on it another day. I'm stumbling my words because I got to get my daughter out the door soon. So, but I want to get you this information. All right, so calendar. I live and die by my calendar because it's my brain. I often if I'm in the kitchen working and my phone is out of my sight, I'm like, where is my brain? I literally call my phone my brain because it has everything in it. Um, Good morning, Lois. Yes, I'm popping on a little early because I've got to get to an appointment for my daughter. So I'm glad you made it. All right. So I use Google Calendar. You can use whatever. I used to use Deja Calendar, but I use Google. And some people use Outlook or Apple. But I use Google Calendar because it syncs with my husband. So on my calendar, if I open up my calendar, I see lots and lots of colors. And I don't know that my phone see. There you go. See all the colors on my calendar? Yeah. So the red stuff is imported from my husband's phone. So maybe it's something that I need to know, whether it's court. He has court, or if we have scheduled going out. We have a party coming up for someone that he works with that's retiring, things like that. So they import in red. My daughter's calendar imports in purple because, as you know, my daughter runs her own business, but she doesn't drive yet. So I'm the one who has to take her to and fro. So it's important that I have those on my calendar. But it also allows me to put things on her calendar, like her doctor's appointments. And so, like today. All right. And then I color code my calendar. My son is orange, my daughter is purple, my husband is red. I'm blue, my work stuff is green. Like it just helps me to stay organized. I'm a nerd, I know. So even if it's paper calendar, I definitely recommend using a calendar because it's nice to have that one big shot of what is going on, what is anchoring your day that you have to schedule around. So the second thing I utilize each and every day is what I call budgeting my day. And so for me, it looks like a piece of paper like this because I've not gotten a journal yet today, or this year rather. If you have a journal that gives you hour by hour, it's kind of the same thing. So mine gives me here, excuse me, I have hour by hour from 7 to 7. And then I have a place to put like a little lists around there, which I'll get into when I get to lists, but just some place to put some notes and stuff around it. But basically, even if you have like a daily plan or even a list on a legal pad, I love notebooks and legal pads as well, just so that you can see, okay, so when I budget my day, this is what I do. I get out my daily list and I put in the things that have to be done at certain times, like doctor's appointments. Like, let me look back here. I had a co-op planning meeting. I have my coaching calls. I have client appointments. So anything that has to, field trip, cello lessons. So anything that has to get locked in at a certain time, I put those in first, right? Then I go to my lists, which again, we'll get to more in a minute, and I start filling that out with where I can put things in, always leaving grace and free time, and especially time for each of my children and my husband, all right? So we're not packing it full, but it allows me to see my day. And then when you get to the end of a busy day, you're not stuck there saying, oh my gosh, I've been going all day long. What have I accomplished? You know what you accomplished, all right? And what you need to do tomorrow. And I like this because I do it in 5 days because when I start listing out like maybe a little to-do list or whatever on there, I was like, okay, you know what? That's enough for one day. Let me flip it over to another day. All right. Time blocking, number 3. So never underestimate the power of 10 to 15 minutes of focused time. I did it last night. I got off of a client call and I was like, all right, so I don't need to start dinner quite yet. It's a little early. I set my timer for 15 minutes and I opened up a project that I was working on and gave it 15 minutes of focused time. Um, and I had set a goal to finish one section of that project and I did it. It's amazing what you can accomplish in a small amount of time when you set your mind to it and say, you know what? You know, if you're writing a book, Lois, I know you're working on a book. Sit down and say, you know what? I've got 30 minutes and I'm going to outline the next chapter, or 15 minutes, whatever time you have. Sit down. Once you outline a chapter, done. Move on with your day. Next time you have a chance, whether it's later that day or another day. All right, I'm going to write the introduction to the next chapter. Sit down, focus out, write it out. You know, we can do life in small bits, right? We can make progress. All right, so number 4. Oh, and before with time blocking, also, it's not just that sit down intentional focus time, but for me, I also like to use pockets of time. I have 2 teenagers, so I often have many pockets of time where I'm waiting for them, whether it's a half an hour drum lesson or a cello lesson or um, whatever. And I always make sure I have something with me, even if it's just a book or it's my journal or it's my notebook. I have something that keeps me occupied and I don't just scroll. Now, I'll be honest, sometimes I do scroll like on Facebook or whatever because I'm catching up with people or I forgot something, but I just try to be intentional at having something to do. Um, let's see. Oops, we showed that one already. This is good. Let's see. Yes. All right. I'm glad that you find that helpful, Lois. Let's see what else is here. Yes. You're welcome. Of course. You're so welcome. All right. So number 4 is journaling. Now, if you followed me, you know I love my journals. I've created a few journals. I live by my journal. I'm looking around because like I've got massive journals. Like this is my massive like everyday journal that I write in um, when I'm just trying to hash out something or if I feel I like using journals for a few different things, and I've got them everywhere. I'm looking for one specific while I'm sitting here, and I can't find it, of course. I use journaling in my Bible study. I use journals in my prayers. Like when I do my quiet time, I have a system that I utilize. And if you have grabbed my Proverbs journal, you know exactly what I'm talking about because I outline my system in there. It's a 5-step system of prayer and reading and prayer and reflecting, and it goes like that. So I use journals for that. I also use journals just to brain dump. I have lots of ideas with lots of things that I want, lots of ways I want to help people, lots of projects that I think of when I'm in the middle of other projects I can't quite get to. I journal them out so I don't lose them and I come back to them later. So journaling helps me clear my head. It lets me focus, lets me let go of overwhelm. And it also lets me help work on ideas. So if I have an idea, but I'm not sure how it's going to go, I'll just start journaling and writing it out. And that kind of just helps me process. That's how I process. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but that works for me. All right. So you've got calendar, budgeting your day, time blocking, journaling. And 5, last but not least, is the power of lists. So as I mentioned, when I write out my daily stuff, I have my little calendar side and then I have my list side. If you participated in the Balance and Grow Your Life challenge we did at the beginning of the year, you'll know we have 2 lists that we create every day, right? We have a list of things that we need to do. Your list of things to do is going to be like laundry or post office. Like mine has, I have to respond to a message about a girl's luncheon that we're putting together. So with some friends, I have to make an appointment for my son. I have to call the vet. I have to call the dentist. So that kind of stuff um, goes that we have to do every day. That oftentimes can maximize our day. Like it can take up our day and overwhelm us. We make that list of things that we have to do. And then when you have time, that's one of my time blocking things. And oftentimes things like doctor appointment phone calls and things like that, I can knock out when my son's in drum lessons or my daughter's at cello or something like that. And something easy because my calendar is on my phone. I've got my phone. And if I've got my list, I also use my notes section on my phone a lot for lists. If I'm not there for something that I want, or if I've got the list written on paper, I'll just take a picture of it. So I have it with me. And then I'm out the door, got my phone, I've got my what I'm going to be doing in that pocket of time, right? So, but I use lists a lot. I use checklists. I use lists of things to do. We go through, like, we're getting ready to launch our Building a Attainable Foundation of Health, a 90-day reset. So if you don't know about it, pop in my group, you'll find information. But in the book, I created a daily checklist and a place to write. And this is for your list or your journaling, whatever you're going to do. So that's how much I think these tools are helpful. So I want everyone to have them. And I think especially in something like the 90-day reset, when we're trying to retrain our brain and trying to incorporate that growth mindset in our daily life, as well as establish healthy habits and boundaries, that consistency of lists is very important, even if it's a checklist, even if it's a list that you're not physically writing out, having that physical list of that you can go through is nice. All right, guys, I got to pop off, but that was my 5 ways to juggle a busy life. I hope it's helpful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to dig in more about how I use my calendar, budgeting my day, time blocking, journaling, or lists, let me know and we will do it in a future video. If you're not already in there, be sure to pop into my group, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, a faith-based journey to do more, give more, and serve more. And I will see you guys on Monday.